Can we talk about some of the other side man jobs that you have?
Yep, sure. Well, let's see. Well, we mentioned Sean. That's a really, when he's in town, that's a really great one for me. That he sort of, the music he writes is really sort of up my alley, and but it gives me sort of great ideas for my own music. And there's sort of Steve Hunter's band, which is again really great fun.
Steve's really a unique bass player too, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, definitely. He's really got his own thing, and Steve's really great, like Sean is too, at writing music where a lot of it's quite open, and you're really free to do whatever you like. That's really important. Even my own music, I don't feel as free as I do in like Steve's band or Sean's band.
Right.
They've just got a way of writing that is sort of, they know how to write a very simple sort of. I'm alright at writing sort of these semi-complex kind of tunes. They've usually got quite a few chord changes in them, and they can lock you in a bit. You know what I mean? And so, but yeah, Sean's and Steve's music doesn't have that thing for some reason. Yeah.
And playing with Vince Jones, which you're doing quite a bit of.
Yep. Well, Vince was sort of my first. He was my first sort of real taste of touring, and you know, on a high level, and so yeah, that's another thing, a different thing as well. Like you were talking about James Morrison before, and Vince is almost the opposite, where you play a lot of ballads, and it's more about sort of creating textures and colours, which is very sort of challenging, you know, as well. And again, I'm playing with a keyboard in that band, and again, working out a sort of medium where we're both, you know, we're not getting in the way of each other is tricky as well.
Can I ask you about your approach to playing accompanying guitar, comping?
Well, the way I think of comping is just to try and make a comfortable bed for whatever's going on top, whether it's a solo, a horn taking a solo, or a singer, you know, singing a melody. And I think it's important to try not to follow the soloist or the singer too much. That's the mistake I used to make when I was really young, is I'd try and follow every note that the soloist was playing, and I'd just end up playing all this. It was just too much, and it wasn't actually giving them anything to feed off. So that's what I think you're trying to do. You're trying to just create this really comfortable environment for them to do whatever they like, and but you don't want to be trying to follow them too closely, or I used to try and match, you know, the note that they were singing. I'd be trying to match it all the time with a chord that would fit perfectly or something like that, and you end up sort of just chasing them around, and it doesn't sort of help anyone. So I would just say it's about, think of it as just like creating a nice sort of bed.
What about your soloing? What's your approach with soloing?
Well, I mean, that's a broad question, but I would say generally I'm just trying to do something interesting. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to play something that would that has a couple of surprises in it. Really, that's important to me. Is just not to just play something that fits. You almost want to play something that occasionally doesn't quite fit, or you know, makes the sort of listener go ooh, and then you sort of, you know, resolve it. That's one of the main things. And I'm trying to sort of outline chord changes a lot, you know what I mean, and just sort of, yeah.
Do you have a stockpile of licks, or it's all instantaneous?
No, it's definitely not all instantaneous. It's sort of, I do draw from licks, definitely, but it's not so much a conscious thing. I'm never thinking, okay, I'm going to put lick number 40 in here and whatever. But I do, when I practice licks for sure, or patterns, or you know.
Who's like, you transcribe solos?
I did. I don't so much anymore, but that was a huge thing. Yeah, when I was growing up, I you know, in my teens and early 20s, I did that. Yeah, and then you know, you'd end up with these sort of little fragments. They weren't sort of entire licks a lot of the time. They were just sort of 4 notes or something. You realise, oh, they sound nice over, you know, G major 7. If I play an A triad, it sounds really nice or whatever, you know. And so you just end up with these little things that you keep sort of adding to your playing. And for a while, you've actually got to sort of, for me, I had to force them into my playing. I actually had to consciously, when I was soloing, think, oh yeah, remember that thing we were practicing, you know, the A over the G, that put that in there, you know what I mean? And so it's, but I mean, I don't do that every gig, but I go through, it sort of happens every few months where I'll be working on a bunch of things, and I've got to really deliberately sort of, almost sort of punch them into my vocabulary, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I just find if I just sort of go into sort of no man's land, the sort of new stuff won't get in there unless it, you know, unless I force it in, basically.
So you transcribed some solos. What were some of the pivotal ones for you?
I can't think of too many of the actual solos, like the songs, but there were like John Coltrane and Michael Brecker were huge sort of influences on my vocabulary. I mean, I guess Michael Brecker was coming out of John Coltrane, you know, and Coltrane was coming out of Charlie Parker and so forth. So, but they were really important. Also, sort of Schofield from around the sort of early 90s, late 80s, sort of the records he was doing around that time, I just listened to time and time again. So I didn't actually sit down with a pen and paper with Schofield, I just listened to the music so much.
So it would just come out?
Yeah. Pat Metheny's Bright Size Life was a huge influence on my sort of writing and soloing. Yeah, I mean, there's so many.
Did you study formally?
No. But I did a lot of my own sort of personal study where I didn't actually go to the con in Adelaide, but I used to hang around the library all the time where I'd sort of be looking through books and videos and whatever else there was available at the con. That was a great resource, actually. I sort of guess I owed him some money or something. But yeah,
when you're rich and famous.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Donate a reading
exactly.
To them
Yeah,
or something. Yeah,
that's right.
Can we talk about your compositional approach when you write songs?
It's basically purely just comes from noodling around on the guitar. There's no set sort of thing that I do. I'll just sort of usually the chords and the melody will happen at the same time. You know what I mean? I just might be fiddling around, whatever, and sort of whatever comes out, sort of. If I like it, I'll use it for a tune, you know.
Of all of your tunes that you've written, which are you most proud of? Which do you feel is your best?
Wow. There's a couple. Sort of like there's one called Chick Corea from that.
Yes.
There's a couple on that record that I like. Actually, there's one called Chick Corea and another one called D Blues, which they're a couple of tunes that I'm really happy with. Yeah. There's a couple from that I wrote on the record before that one called Thrum. There's one called Green Eyes that I really like, and another one called The Happy Camper.
Can we talk about your gear, your guitar and your amps? And
sure. The main guitar that I use is this Ibanez AS200 from 1980, which is a great sort of workhorse guitar. It's sort of indestructible and it plays really well. And actually, interestingly, this pickup here that I've put in the neck is made by a guy called Mick Briley in Adelaide. I don't know if you've come across him, but he's fantastic. He's actually built some pickups for my Strat as well, and I had some problems with pickups that I had before. They weren't sort of picking up the right frequencies, and I said, can you make this a really mid-rangey sounding pickup? And amazingly, he did. And
so
I just didn't...
totally to custom.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Which is great. So he's worth checking out. But
I wonder how it would sound compared to, well, if it was still stock.
Yeah, well, it'd be interesting to check that out, but I can tell you, I was looking at the stock pickups, didn't have enough mid-range for me. They were a bit scoop sounding, and as soon as I put this in, it was, you know, I had the mids that I wanted, which is great. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, then that goes into my pedal board, which is very simple, really. Just goes into a tuner, then a boost pedal, and got a couple of overdrive pedals. With the overdrives, I'll just try and set the drive so I'm just getting a little bit more boost, you know, a little bit more of a gainy sound than the clean sound. I don't set it very sort of distorted or saturated or anything, so it's just like, so it's got a little bit of hair on it. So I try and really get the sound to be pretty much exactly like it is clean, with a little bit of grit on it. Yeah. from the overdrives, I go just into a tremolo pedal, and then sometimes it's unplugged at the moment. I go into a chorus, and then just to a delay, and then it's all very simple. Occasionally I use a volume pedal as well, and a wah-wah sometimes.
Right.
The booster, that's I only use that actually when I'm using single coil guitars like a Tele. I use a Tele and a Strat sometimes, and yeah, I'll kick that on for a sort of clean solo. I just find with if I play a clean solo, I can't get enough sort of gain. Yeah. So I just sort of.
So it just gives you a bit more volume.
Yeah, just sort of fattens it up and it gives you a bit more volume. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How about your amps?
Now the main one I use you're sitting on, which is
move off right now.
it's an old Rivera Jake Studio combo, which I use. That's what I use for jazz stuff. Also, what I use is this Marshall here that I made actually.
Wow.
It's a JTM 45 clone.
Wow.
It's from a company called Metro Amp in the States, and they give you the stuff and you build it. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out actually. I use that for a lot of the sort of fusiony stuff that I do with the Tele and the Strat. And the other thing I have is this thing which a guy, John Bettison, a fantastic guitarist around town, actually built. It's basically pretty much a clone of a Dumble overdrive special, and it just has the most incredible overdrive sound I've ever heard. It's just amazing. Unfortunately, it needs to be revalved at the moment. So,
well, thanks for taking time to talk to us, James. It's been great.
No,
Your CD, how would someone get a hold of it if they were wanting to pick it up?
just from the website www.birdland.com.au.
All right. Can you play us something?
Sure.